I dream of creating a space where artists of difference can be bloody mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't want to break
Yeah.
any barriers.
True.
I don't want to do groundbreaking work.
No.
I just want to write a B+ play.
Literally before capitalism, when I was a child, basically.
Before capitalism, when I didn't know what capitalism was.
Yeah, when I didn't know what capitalism was. Yeah.
I think I saw your stuff come up on my feed sometime around when I was producing Tiffin Box for Prayas.
Yeah.
And then that was like 2024, like in the second half of the year.
True. Yeah.
And then I was like, I really want to work with this person. But we weren't doing anything visual art related.
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I make this work? And I think that's when I was like, can you give me something to put on the backdrop?
yeah. That's really, I initially knew you in the theatre space, but I never reached out. But I knew you were Bengali. I'm like, I want to be friends with her.
And there's not a lot of Bengalis in our theatre, like in our art space, like openly doing like freelance work or whatever as artists. I mean, like lots of Bengalis practice art as a hobby. That I know. Is that your experience?
Yes.
as well?
Yeah. Just in general, South Asia.
Yeah.
You do that. Yeah.
But Bengalis specifically have, at least in my family anyway, we have had so much like training in dance, music, and theatre performance. Yeah. And then I was just like, I need to meet this human. So yeah.
And then this human doesn't speak Bangla.
Hey. that's I think that's an experience that a lot of us have though.
Yeah.
Because I spoke Bangla because my parents spoke it. And then when I was growing up in India, we grew up in Delhi, but we would go back to my amma, my nanny's place, my grandmother's place. And like she taught us every summer.
Okay.
But I realized when I moved here that nobody else, like my generation, who moved from other parts of India, actually spoke Bangla.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. So I've been like on a little journey of getting more into Bengali as well.
True.
Yeah. What's your...
For me, so I grew up in a half Bangladeshi, half Sri Lankan Tamil household.
That's right.
And so my parents decided that English was going to be the common language. So I, unfortunately couldn't learn either Tamil or Bangla, but I know like when they are scolding me or when they're like
when they get real mad,
that's when I know what they're saying.
So what do they say? What kind of shit do they say?
Well, it's my mom would be like "Senunai,"
and that's Tamil.
Tamil, yeah. What my dad would say, he'd be like, "Tu mata," like something, I don't know.
Your dad is the Bengali one.
Bengali,
right?
yeah.
Oh my god.
Bangladeshi, yeah.
What part of Bangladesh is he?
So he's from Chittagong, specifically Fini district.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So part of my family is from Dhaka, Khulna, but they moved like in the early 1900s, I want to say.
Like before partition,
much before partition. I was reading up about this because this is just my interest, but the Bengal was partitioned like way before like India was partitioned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the British tried to make it into two different sort of administrative regions.
Yeah.
And so that's where West Bengal, East Bengal came in, even before partition happened.
Yeah, because I always got confused by why is it West and East Pakistan and...
Yeah, West Pakistan and East Pakistan is because Pakistan was like part in Punjab and then Bangladesh side of it, right? And so when they arbitrarily drew the border, it was just like Muslim majority. That was the only thing that they saw.
Yeah.
But even before that happened, West Bengal and East Bengal had been administratively pulled apart. And then I think it didn't work or something. Like there was just too much similarity. I can't remember exactly. Like don't quote me. And then it was smashed back together. But I think at that point, some of my family, my mother's side of the family, had started to come in, and the reason I'm so interested in also, selfishly, being, just trying to have more Bangladeshi people in my life is because it just occurs to me that we have way more in common with like yourself and our other Bangladeshi mates here than we have with like sometimes with people from other parts of India.
Wow.
Yeah, because ethnically we're the same people.
Yeah, literally. We're just separated by borders.
Yeah, we're separated by borders, and people think that the religion makes a huge difference, but our taste buds are the same.
No,
we have the same poetry, literature. Oh,
you guys are the Hindus that eat meat. Like we're just
don't tell people that. I know. Even Hindus from India will be like, nah, you're not real.
Exactly.
We don't eat beef. We're not supposed. I eat everything.
Do we want to do that first question, creativity?
Well, you tell me, because actually I'm really interested in your mahi and all of the kantha.
Yep.
And that was one of the things actually that drew me to your like Instagram.
Yep.
So I was like, but yeah, tell me about how you got into all of that.
Yeah. Well, so I discovered Nokshikata, which means embroidery quilt, in uni. And so this was so I did my whole degree, surprisingly, I don't know how I got through it, during COVID, during the pandemic. And so I was I think it was second year-ish, they gave us a prompt about like what you want to do in this, like what do you want to carry on in your practice at the moment. And I think at that point in my life I just came out of like came out of like a dark period of my life, and that part I was just like, wait, what was the most important thing to me growing up? And it was just the community and the culture and being in two groups of Bangladeshi heritage and Sri Lankan heritage, and also the Muslim community. And a lot of it was community.
Yeah, it's a lot of intersections.
Yeah, so many intersections. And so I was like, I want to bring this back. I want to discover the art traditions of these cultures that I've grown up with. And that's how I found Nokshikata. That was the first thing that came up when I discovered art heritage from Bangladesh, and I wanted to continue that. So I was like, this is not talked about. Like back then it was not talked about. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start creating embroidery from all different parts of South Asia and make it into a quilt. And that was my first ever quilt. And yeah, I've just been doing it since. I came out of the pandemic being like, wait, embroidery is so fun. It's such a cathartic quality of just like stitching. It helped me through the pandemic. And and so what I did was, when the pandemic finished, I got a bunch of my classmates and we did a little workshop, the Nokshikata workshop. I got them to stitch. It was kind of more...
Did you do that at AU? Because I think maybe that's where I first saw one of your things pop up. Like one of those workshops was something that first popped up.
Oh, okay. Because I did do Auckland Uni.
You did do Auckland Uni.
Yeah.
Was it around 2024? Was that?
Yes, with Desi Girls Society?
Maybe. Yeah. Because I think that's where I first was like, oh, this is interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's when so I created like I had a small group of friends and we just did the workshop, but it was a bit more intense because I wanted to get emotion out of them. So I wrote a bunch of like really deep questions for them to like answer while they stitched.
Wow.
We only got through half because one of them started crying. So
can't have deep questions with South Asian girls, man.
No, they were actually a mix of ethnicities. It was just all different people. Yeah. It was I was the only South Asian there. Yeah, it would be like no emotions with the South Asian people.
My God. Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, damn, this really is impactful, and I want to do this more with community. So that's why I've just brought it up here when I moved here and kept doing it since. Yeah.
I really loved seeing how much like your classes have taken off, like your workshops have taken off, and like it really, like I think I've popped into a few workshops when you've done them at the library. And it's just like everybody is having a great time. And it's also such a mix of ages, genders. Like I saw a little kid and he was just like, I think it was at the library. He was just so into it. And I'm like, dude, you're having such a great time and you're getting a life skill. Yeah. That's the other thing. And it's also like really pretty. And I guess that was one of the things that drew me to your work as well, is that I'm quite aware of the performing arts side.
Yep.
But Bengal has such a rich fine art, like visual art history. And you can see that on our sharis. Like you can see this on my like scarf, which I brought along to show and tell. But and like I was telling you, this was gifted by my cousin who went and visited Shantiniketan, which is where Rabindranath Tagore's school is. It's just outside of Kolkata, like an hour train ride or something. And but also in like our sharis and all of that, and there's, you know, and I've been so drawn into the Bengaliness of everything as well, because I think growing up we shunned a lot of culture.
Even back there?
Yeah, even back there, because I grew up in Delhi.
Oh, okay.
And Delhi is quite metropolitan, but it also, being metropolitan, it also does kind of ask you to assimilate to this like Indianness, which is very North India coded. And I moved there when I was like 4 or 5. And I didn't speak Hindi very well, which is huge, like, bully fodder. And Bengalis have this classic, like, now it's funny to me, but we have different ways of speaking, right? Our accent's so different, etc. And so I kind of didn't really actively seek out any Bengaliness. But my parents were involved in the community, like the Durga Puja. And Delhi has a lot of Bengalis. And then there's a whole, like a pada. What do you call a pada? Like a whole neighborhood, which is settled by Bengalis. Wow. It's called CR Park, Chittaranjan Park. And that's where you used to go to the fish market. Classic.
Of course there's a fish market.
Classic. There's a fish market. There's puchka.
Oh, nice.
And for those of you who don't know, puchka is like pani puri, or like these little, do you know?
We say fushka.
You say fushka, yes. I noticed that because there's a lot of Bangladeshi restaurants that have popped up. And like cafes that have popped up in Auckland recently.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I'm loving it.
It's so nice.
It's because like that's the closest we've come to having any food.
Literally.
Yeah, being
the only thing
sold.
is we cook it ourselves. Otherwise, we can't. Yeah, if we're too lazy one day, we can't go out and get Bengali food. It's just like
I know, and just having dal. That is not cooked by you.
It's
but
crazy.
That is also just Bengali. And then there's a shop now in, I think, Sandringham. It's called Snack Bites. Oh my god, they started with a cart.
Yeah. They've come a long way,
and they've taken over the Sri Lankan place.
Yeah, I know.
It's like one part of your family is taking over the other.
My mom was like, what the fuck?
The Bengalis are they're just everywhere. What? I know. Sorry. But I love them, and like they have, sometimes we'll go over just to eat the puchka.
Oh, nice.
Oh yes, we were saying, for those of you who don't know, puchka is like a little wafer of, oh god, deliciousness, but what is it actually made of? Sometimes semolina.
Pani puri. People know.
Yeah, pani puri or puchka, but like what is the thing? Like it's like wheat flour or rice flour, or I know the semolina ones.
Yeah.
And then they're little guys and they're deep fried and they puff up, and then you crack it, and then you add like potato and chickpeas and masala. And then my mouth is watering so bad right now. And then and then you dip it in like coriander water or imli water, tamarind water.
Yeah.
Oh, and chutneys, and then it's just
my
a
favorite's
snack.
when it's like when they have the dahi, like the yogurt on top.
Oh, the doi puchka?
Yeah,
oh
that's
my,
my favorite.
Okay, so Kolkata has adopted doi puchka. I realized when I was there at the end of 24. And that is a game changer, sis. Like, it's so good.
It's embarrassing because I can't handle spice. So when I heard it, thank you. You're the first like Desi who said that to me. I'm like, finally someone.
Dude, don't you find this so strange? Like we're like, okay, India alone is 1 billion people.
Yeah.
Then there's Pakistan, there's Bangladesh, there's Sri Lanka, there's like Nepal, Bhutan, whatever, and we're all supposed to tolerate spice.
Okay, but like Bangladesh and like Nepal, they love their spice.
Sure, but you have Sri Lankans as well.
That's like double.
Sahana, you are an outlier actually, because I used to flat with Ahi.
Yeah.
And he has this the garam masala version, which is like King's Jaffna curry powder.
Oh my god,
you know,
yes,
Jaffna curry
yes,
powder.
yes.
I love that so much. I started buying it myself, but it was spicy. Now I understand why everybody who I know who's Sri Lankan has got problems.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's how we do. It's fine. I also have gut problems.
Me too.
IBS rules, baby. This is anyway, we can't stop talking about food, but food is community. You know.
True.
Yeah.
Segue.
No, like
But we
we've done
didn't talk
this
about
before.
your creativity.
My creativity. Oh, I don't know. I thought about this question when Jenna sent it, actually. It's like, what do you dream of creating? And nothing about it is actually about my creative process. I think what I dream of creating is more about like frameworks. I don't know how I got to this point, but it was more to do with, you know, whose story is being heard, who gets to tell that story, who are we seeing represented. And I mean, like, I'm not saying that I can move the needle by myself and I'm only a small cog, you know, in the whole machine. But that's my goal in life, to create space and to hold space. And I think it really solidified when I was doing Tiffin Box. So for those who don't know me, I've been working as a creative part-time since 2007. So that's that's like almost 20 years next year. And a lot of that I've been doing with Prayas, because, you know, as a sort of like a hobbyist, and then I was only 19. How old was I? 21. I think I was 19 when I first did the ushering, which was like 2005. And that's how I got involved. I was supposed to be in the show, and then I twisted my ankle. It's classic. Classic dancer move. When you're not dancing, you're twisting your ankle. But yeah, so that's my background. My performing background is actually dance. So I'm trained Bharatanatyam dancer and Bengali folk and Rabindric style. And I've been on stage since I was 2.
Wow.
Not choice, obviously, because who decides they want to be on stage at 2? But that's what, you know, that's like the cultural thing that we have, that we're like, you're 2 years old, you can dance now. So I've been dancing on Durga Puja stages and stuff like that. And then I think my parents just wanted me to have a hobby so that I'm not like bumming around all weekend. And send me off to Prayas, which was started by Aotearoa, co-founded, I should say, not alone did he start it, but and he was a family friend through the Bengali, through Probashi, the community, the Bengali community. And then he sort of, let me, even though I twisted my ankle, he let me kind of hang around. And I ended up ushering the first 2 years. And then after that, I just refused to kind of go away. So he gave me like an AD position, but you know, I'm 21, so I'm like a sponge at this point, and I'm just like, I'll do anything, whatever. So, you know, I'm really glad and I'm really grateful to him to and he must have seen something. So I jumped in there. I started ADing. I also started stage managing, because back in the day we were calling shows. Like they would sit there and like call the show with the op. And the uncle who was doing that, who's also a very close friend of ours, family friend of ours, he couldn't read anymore. His eyesight was going. So he was like, Sananda, আমি পড়তে পারছি না. So I can't read anymore. So you'll have to, and also because you're, as a stage manager, you're reading it in the blue light, like you're in the back, in the back. And he just couldn't do it. So he ran the show the first day. And I stood next to him and kind of reading like everything. And after that, he also lives in Tauranga. So that was the other thing. So after the first show, I just started calling the show. And so that's basically how I got into theatre.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
just unintentionally.
Unintentionally, wow. Yeah, actually. And so, because at that point I was like classic, like South Asian kid. I have a conjoint degree in arts and commerce.
Oh, wow.
And by the time I quit the corporate sector, I was an insights manager. So my that field, my that brain is like in research and audience measurement and all of that kind of stuff. And like I had to, my dad would not have let me had a career in like arts. Come on. Not after he moved us all this way to do what?
Arts?
Waste your life in the arts. Poisha ki kore kore. How are you gonna earn money? Yeah, classic. So I just kept doing that, and then at some point when I started feeling that I wasn't contributing enough, like just directing wasn't contributing enough to the conversation, and I think that's my real drive, to contribute to the conversation. And then when I, after much consideration and talking to my partner and talking to my friends who are at this point already burnt out creatives, they're like, why do you want to be a freelance artist? It makes no sense.
In a time where everyone was not wanting, because this is during what time period?
I finished my final corporate gig in end of 2019. So the plan was, you know Shomudro, eh?
Yeah.
I directed Shomudro's show at Pride in early 2020.
Yeah.
It was called Perfect Shade. They had written it. It was awesome. I had such a great time. And then I was like, this is what I would need to do more. And then I had all these grand plans in 2020. Yeah. We were supposed to go on like the 6-month sabbatical, Sandeep and I. And then I was going to come back and like throw myself into freelance arts. And we all know how 2020 went. So that was a year and a half. But so what ended up happening was I ended up producing a lot more because that's what was needed. And I really realized that artists are having to do everything. Yeah. You know, and I mean, you know this as a self-produced person. Yeah. Like, you're not just making the art, then you're trying to market yourself, then you're trying to find the money, then you're trying to convince other people that your art is worth consuming. And I find that very frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Right?
For sure.
I have a math brain. And so I was like, well, actually I can do the spreadsheets and I can do the admin. Like I've done that for a decade of my life. And I can do the marketing, and I am an audience behavior, and like that, a lot of that just lends itself to producing. Right. And so I just started producing, learned from Ahi, learned from Padma, and just like kind of and I realized that there was so much. People just started coming to me with their gigs. Wow. Yeah, I'm not sure that's because I was competent. It was just that I was there, and like doing it. And also as a director, I haven't directed my own work. Like that was because I didn't really come into it from the writing perspective. I was just making work that was written by other people, which actually doesn't happen very often that you direct other people's work. So I just kind of kept getting producing work more and more. And then I was like, actually, this is, while I don't love producing and I don't want that to be my main focus, like my main artistic, kind of my main creative output is directing. That's what I love. I love telling the story. But I have this experience and knowledge, and I just want to hold space. Yeah. So now I'm trying to figure out how to produce without producing.
Because you have to produce as well yourself.
Well, I have to produce myself. And producing is like really, it's a lot of work. Yeah. Like it's a lot of mental math. Yeah. And it is hard to put yourself, like throw yourself into a project that is not yours, and to then continue to motivate yourself to continue to do it when you know that the fiscal value of it is going to be so little. And that's not anybody's fault. That's just what we are given. Yeah. We are playing with the toys we are given. Yeah. And you can't blame your artist friends for not having money. Yeah. And you can't blame the people who are trying to get through a cost of living crisis for not coming to the theater. Yeah. But you still have to put in the same mahi. Yeah. So, but it really does serve some part of my like heart. And I think that's been my biggest drive. I mean, I always joke that I'm like a mediocre artist. But I really just want that, you know? I want a place. And so that's, I guess, the question. Like, what do I dream of creating?
Yeah.
I dream of creating a space where artists of difference can be bloody mediocre.
Yeah.
I don't want to break
Yeah.
any barriers.
True.
I don't want to do groundbreaking work.
No.
I just want to write a B+ play.
Literally before capitalism, when I was a child, basically.
Before capitalism, when I didn't know what capitalism was.
Yeah, when I didn't know what capitalism was.
Fair.
I just wanted to create, and I didn't care about the outcome.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it helped me as a human being to grow. Was creativity.
Yeah.
And being an artist,
Yeah.
like, it's so capitalistic now, and it has to be, because otherwise we can't survive.
Yeah. We have these
Yeah.
like morsels that are being thrown, and
Yeah.
it's so hard. Like even this, like that you and Jenna were, you know, part of the Asian Artists Fund, and I remember thinking, man, it's like $600,000, and there are so many of us
Yeah.
doing incredible things.
Yeah.
You know, I look at the list of who got funded, and I was like, that is a cool list, but who got left out?
Yeah.
And how, like, who makes the call about whose art is worth producing?
Yeah.
And we're just having to do that because there aren't enough things.
Yeah. And that could be ripped away at any time. So then,
well, it is already.
yeah.
But I just, I work for the Big Idea these days,
Yeah.
and so I get to see all the great like political conversations, and I am in constant fear of you know, of literally when that happens, because I was that last thing that happened where we're supposed to be, say, CNZ is supposed to be, like, creative sector is supposed to be saving something like $2 million or whatever. I'm like, from what? Like, how? It's only, what is it, like 6% of people got funded in the last round or something. It's like, okay, so everybody is getting $10 anyway, and then you're putting your heart into writing funding applications is soul sucking.
Yeah.
I think I did it twice, and I was like, actually, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just hard. It's like going, and you know, you're talking to somebody who does measurable, reliable, valid, because that's my research life.
Yeah.
But you know, leave that to scientific theory, man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't want to tell you that
for
my
regular,
art.
Yeah, for a regular artist, we don't care about that stuff.
Exactly.
I just want someone else.
I want to throw some paint on paper. Leave me alone. Give me some money to buy paint. Like,
literally.
that's. And then somebody made this comment. I mean, like, I don't know, on the Big Idea social page, and they were like, "I don't want my money to fund public arts.
Oh.
I don't want my taxpayer money to go there." And somebody else underneath was like, "And I don't want to fund rugby. What are you saying?" And I was like, yeah. So how is it that we're taking one way of expressing, like, bloody, you know what I don't get? Sailing. We put so much money into bloody boats.
And they're just all sitting at the waterfront.
Yeah, and they're like, yay, my boat is something like. Honestly, I don't get sailing, but I'm not going to be like, no, that should not be publicly funded. Somebody enjoys it.
Yeah.
And the role of government and society is to do that.
Yeah.
And so the role of government and society is to create diverse things for people to enjoy. Yeah. And not just be like, pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Well, you won't even fill up my pothole in Mount Roskill. Man, like... Sorry, my Indian accent is coming out. Like, when I'm frustrated, that's my go-to. But it's just so frustrating. And so I think I'm now in a place where, you know, I have made enough of a network. And my goal is just to go, there's an artist, like, on a micro level, to find people like yourselves. And I was like, Sahana is cool, man. I want to be friends with her. Oh. Be friends with me. Please. I need friends. I mean, I have lots of great friends, but I'm always...
Little did you know, I actually wanted to be your friend, so it was okay.
People should tell each other. We are such a small community. We can just be like, hey, so I am, what was that, Taurus?
I'm Taurus.
Taurus?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm a Taurus. Can you, Leo, be my friend?
Can you, Leo, be my friend?
Lead with that. Okay. Lead with that.
Sure.
And be like, should we do this thing? And And I think we should just be like less, I don't know. I mean, that's one of the things I love and hate about New Zealand is that it's just such a flat structure.
Yeah, yeah.
Shahana, I've gone blah, blah, blah for so long.
Yeah.
Should we go try crack? I think we already kind of talked about community. But do you want to, tell me, I guess what I want to know is like, when you do these workshops, right? Do you hold on to any of that community? Do you find them coming back? Like, what is your sense of that nokshikata?
Yeah, but I call it nokshikata.
You do call it nokshikata. Yeah. That, okay. By the way, that confused me for so long.
I know, it confuses everyone.
Because I was like, nokshikata. And I said that to somebody. I said that to Amit uncle, Amit Odadar. And he was like, no, nokshikata.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I'm pretty sure she puts O in there.
Yeah. It's intentional.
Oh, it is intentional.
Yes. Because I'm talking about people talking while they embroider.
Interesting. Yeah. And I thought it was the design of the, because you know, in like some of the design work, like in Baluchuri, have you seen I think it's Baluchuri. It's like a type of print, but they have the whole, like there's a whole story.
Ah, okay.
That is printed in the artwork. And I got married in one of those sharis, I think.
Nice. Like, is it at the bottom, eh?
Yeah, it's like through, sometimes it is through the whole thing.
Okay.
The whole sari is the whole painting of the thing.
Wow.
And so I thought that's what you meant, like the storytelling through the art.
Right, yeah.
But okay, so tell me about the community.
The community aspect of, like my workshops. I guess it's people, like people from all walks of life, I think. I see the youngest of the youngest, and then the really older people, because obviously it's embroidery, it's very, like older people love to do embroidery, crochet, knitting and stuff. But I'm surprised that a lot of our people in our generation are coming up as well. And I think I'm saying this because like after the pandemic, I think people are cherishing more in-person meetups and in-person just anything in general.
I think that's definitely one thing I realized. I was like, I need people to energize me. Like to get that. I don't know if that's just Leo or what, but I definitely need that. Battery charge.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I grew up. I grew up around community. I grew up with 3 communities around me. So, like, being in the pandemic and getting all of that sucked away was just like, I could not process it at all. Also, like, biologically speaking, we cannot be alone. Like, it's not part of us to go in this world independently. So I don't understand this whole independent society thing in first world countries.
I know. Individualistic societies are so strange.
I don't understand it.
Because I think we've both grown up in like those.
I think in any POC cultures,
most. I've worked with some Samoan groups, and that's what I started to realize about brown communities. I'm like, oh, actually, they were also calling random older women auntie, and I was like, oh, okay, so this is not uncommon. It's uncommon to Pākehā. Because you don't necessarily immediately build a relationship, or like there is a level of respect that you're expected to show just because they're older. I mean, it has its flaws. Because not everybody who's older is necessarily deserving of respect. I hope my parents don't watch this podcast.
So, if I say anything queer, cut it
out. If I say anything queer,
lesbian, bisexual,
it's Pride Month.
Oh my God. You know what? My mum is born on June 1st.
Oh,
surprise!
Hello. Hey. So you have seen younger people, but I mean, I have met like some friends of mine are mad into crochet.
Yeah.
But it's like, they found these things during the pandemic?
Yeah,
same.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Just anything repetitive, I think. Because, like, we had so much time in the pandemic, and all you have to do is become an animal in a zoo, I guess. Like, you have to do something repetitive, right? So I think that's what caught on to society is anything that was repetitive, they would be able to do. They would do it. And for me, it was embroidering, crochet, knitting, making art.
And so did you find that that say if you hosted one workshop that you would get that becoming a community, or have you made any like, because again, and this is my interest, so I'm asking, like, have you put together a way for people to the same people to come back?
Yeah, so anytime they see Nokshikota workshop, they know to come back. And some of them come back, some of them don't. But I notice, like, after the workshop, people exchange numbers, like,
That's
new
cute.
friends happen. Like, maybe some of them are my friends, and they'll notice other people, like, in my community when we do different events. So it's, like, all becoming a big community. And
That's nice.
when I do eventually like put these works up in the exhibition at the end of the year, I'm inviting everyone who contributed, and so everyone's gonna come back and everyone's gonna remember each other. It's gonna be so nice.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, like, I think that's what I was thinking. Like, you should definitely make like a
Like a
I don't want
blog?
to add administrative things to your
Yeah.
list, but this is the producer in me going. And do you have a directory? Like,
I
you
do
can
have
a-
everyone's emails.
Yeah, because you could just, even if it's not Nokshi, like if you're not doing the stitching, you could still have people come socialize.
Yeah, of
You
course.
know, and like
yeah.
take the stitching away for a second.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. You like
Yeah.
gather over book clubs. Every book club I've been to has been drinking. And I've read one book in 3 book clubs. That's great. I want to go back to, we were talking before we started recording about your tattoo.
Yeah.
Tell me about your tattoo again.
So
Please.
this is my tattoo. It says 146 and it's an angel number. And so long story not long story short, long story.
Long story medium.
Long story medium. When my mum came to New Zealand, she didn't know any English or whatever, so she met this person named Rowena, and she was an older very Kiwi person, and she was my mum's English teacher.
Okay.
And then my mum became pregnant with me, and she was like, "Can I be her grandma for the rest of her life?" And yeah, and so she's been there my whole life since she passed away when I was 18. So basically my whole childhood. She was my rock. She was also a Taurus. She just taught me like everything basically in life.
Okay.
And it was also interesting because as like a person of color, I got to see the white world as well through her eyes and through her community and stuff, and that was also eye-opening. I like got a experience of how white people like be in the world, and then also how brown people be in the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she passed away 2017, and I was not a spiritual person. I was strict Muslim, like straight, like believed I was going to heaven. Straight. And so yeah, I didn't know anything, whatever. And she passed away, and I kept seeing this number, and I was like, what the hell? What? The only thing back then before ChatGPT and everything was Google. So I searched up on Google 146, and the first thing that came up was the street Google map of like the layout of that street near her house. Like the house was in the middle, whatever, but like the street view. And I'm like, crazy. That's
So you
definitely
just
her.
typed in 146 into Google
146,
Maps, or
yeah.
like just Google. You just
Yeah,
Googled
Google,
146.
yeah. I don't know if it was if I said 146 meaning, if I was curious. I don't know what it was, but the first thing was her house, and like on the street view. Yeah,
That is crazy.
it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though that wasn't the number of her house, but like that area. Yeah, it was just insane, and that's when I started getting into spirituality, and I was doing the typical thing back then in 2018 where you had like all the crystals and knew about astrology. Yeah.
Amazing.
Crazy.
And so does spirituality play into your work? I mean, like, I'm gonna get in there and say that I feel like community is a spiritual, like really spiritual experience.
It is.
And I don't mean that I'm like getting high on it. But for me, it kind of is that like higher than self like thing where
It's
you are actually
otherworldly, right? Like it goes between
yeah
world versus like what am I thinking and what is informing my thinking and how do I see the world.
yeah
I see spirituality at the moment. It's a bit weird just how okay, so like in 2018 I became really spiritual because of this situation, and it was very much like I'm queer but I'm also Muslim, and like what do I do? Like where do I stand in spirituality? And what the conclusion I came to was there has to be some higher power, and there has
Yeah.
to be someone that's guiding me through this process.
Yeah.
And I know that higher power doesn't care that I'm queer, because like,
Yeah.
okay, like I'm still here and
Yeah.
still guiding me. And the reason why I say that is because I noticed my spirituality getting better when I kind of like not followed the what do you call it, the rules of Islam. When I stepped away from that and I actually like thought about what is my relationship to God and what is my relationship to the higher source, spirituality, whatever. When I think about it, I was like, I'm just talking to something, but I'm talking maybe to my future self. I'm talking to someone that is above me, and maybe that person is me.
That is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I always think that, you know, religion is a great pathway for faith and like for courage and community, but religious texts are still written by men.
Yeah.
So how we come to know them and how we interpret them is a big part of, you know, how we process our worldview. And like for me, I always joke that I'm a non-practicing Hindu because there's nothing really like I'm not devout or anything. But there are 2 days a year that you will not make me eat because I'm fasting. And I have 3 deities that are Hindu goddesses. Okay, one is Durga, one is Saraswati, and one is Kali. She's my little, like, and they are all like a cultural symbol. And what I really appreciate about that is like how the community comes together. And for those who don't know, Durga is a protector goddess. She was conjured when it's all very similar. She was conjured when this demon was wreaking havoc, and she was conjured by all the gods, and she was given all of their weapons, and she went and defeated them. And there was a loophole apparently where the male gods couldn't, so they summoned a woman, of course, and to do their dirty work. And then Saraswati is our goddess of like art and literature and education and learning. So of course she's like big time. In fact, Shomudro gave me this beautiful idol of Saraswati that I still have with me, and that's the only one that I have with me. And Kali is a more of an aggressive protector, and I feel I'm so like having her makes me feel safe, but also makes me feel brave enough to make decisions that can be otherwise a little bit scary, you know. So I guess it doesn't really impact me, but it also does. Like I don't believe in God, and that I am an atheist in most senses of that word. But I don't know, it's like fairy tales. It's really interesting to like not fall into any category which is kind of like very specifically cuts you up into different pieces. But Jenna has, should we go on to finish the sentences? No, that's good. Okay. Shall I do these for you first, and then you can sure. Finish these sentences. I am in flow when
I'm in nature.
Cool. I'm inspired by
my community,
and I'd love to be known for
my art.
Cool.
Okay, you. I'm in flow when
it is 3 a.m.
I'm inspired by
also people. All the people.
I'd love to be known for.
This is a hard one. For making space. Yeah, that would be what I would like to be known for. And that is our time.
Yes.